I'll go out wide and keep you covered. You want to tap the door? Just wait for me, because I'm going to keep you covered. Go ahead. I got you covered. Come right here. There's too many windows. Here, knock on the door. We got a phone call from here saying that somebody was dead. What? Is there somebody else that lives on this property that has your address? What's your address? No. That's it. That's it. That's the address we got. We got an address. There was a gunshot and a woman screamed. What? I'm serious. That's why we came up here like this, because and then they talked to the caller. Whoever they were talking to said that there's a person dead. No, sir. No, sir. Knock on the door. We need to talk to him. We ain't got time for this.
Ma'am, we got to figure out what's going on.
I want to point y'all to something that's very important, because TMZ is walking back a lot of stuff, and they're doing a whole bunch of things that I think you guys would be like, what the hell is going on? So, check it out. That video that you just seen was distraction. It wasn't really about nothing. But here's where things get interesting. They're either playing with us with words, or they flat out lied to us knowing that they were lying. Take a look at this video. I'm going to run another one, but pay attention to this one.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez, that completely rewrites the timeline of the case as we've come to know it, has surfaced. Video was recorded at the home of Celeste's parents in Lake Elsinore, California, exactly a year ago, or a year before her body was found in the trunk of a car belonging to the rising music star named David. We had been told that Celeste went missing in April of 2024 and that her family hadn't seen her since. But this new video was recorded by a Nest camera on September 8th, 2024, which would make that 4 months after she ran away. The neighbors who provided the video to TMZ say that it shows her arguing with people who had pulled a prank on her. Take a look.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk? I ain't gonna let you talk. No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. Nah, you tripping. Out the door and you tripping.
Oh my god.
Nah, because you tripping. Move the out of here.
You better get over there. Get your over there, little girl.
Just by the very dates of this video seems to prove that Celeste visited her family at least once after she ran away for the last time. But a year and a half after the final missing person report was filed, her body was discovered in a frunk. That's the front trunk of David's Tesla. That was just 3 weeks ago. This video was just discovered as we're finally learning what's been going on behind the scenes of the investigation. The LAPD's captain and commanding officer released a statement saying that the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was likely in the frunk of the Tesla for a long time before it was discovered. According to Captain Scott Williams, quote, "We know for sure that Celeste Rivas Hernandez died and someone placed her body in the front trunk area of David Burke's Tesla. We know that the Tesla had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks. So it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered." I know, you don't think it's a big deal because it's like, yeah, we know all that, right? Not really. Like, this is the police finally confirming it, and they haven't said a thing. But that really does track with our reporting last week when we spoke with a private investigator who tracked down the tow reports for this Tesla. And they showed that neighbors had called police about that car on August the 26th. Police responded the next day and ticketed the car as per protocol. They got to wait 72 hours between each of the tickets they put on there. And after 3 visits, then they can tow the car. The second ticket came September 3rd, and the Tesla was finally towed September 5th. So by our math, police were involved with the car for a week and a half. But the neighbors who lived nearby said the Tesla had already spent close to a month abandoned on that side road. And by the way, incidentally, it was just one street over from David's $20,000 a month mansion that his manager was renting. The Tesla was registered in David's legal name, David Burke. The 20-year-old singer has not been arrested, nor has he been named a suspect. But his friends confirmed to TMZ last week that he was indeed in a romantic relationship with a 14-year-old girl, Celeste. Social media posts indicate they may have even known each other since she was 12, and maybe even 11. Captain Williams responded to the friends' characterization by saying, quote, "As far as their relationship, it would be premature for me to say anything. We are looking into everything." An important piece of the puzzle that has yet to be determined is Celeste's cause of death. The medical examiner has deferred a cause while they await the toxicology results. But one thing they have determined is that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was not pregnant when she died.
So first things first, why would the neighbors get at to TMZ? Why? That has to be one of the biggest things that kind of threw me off. I think TMZ was just fishing for anything that they could and basically was like, let us save our butts by putting this out just in case David decides to sue. Because ultimately, if he's never charged or if he goes and he's found not guilty and the public basically accepts, hey man, he actually didn't do this. This ain't enough. Now, with him being arrested and him going on trial, there are people that still are going to feel like that he did it. Look at the exonerated 5 in Donald Trump. Go figure. Then, nigga, the family is lying. The family basically never told the police again, hey, she came back home. The family must have known, 1, she wasn't trying to beat her. 2, she definitely was like, hell nah, F all this. I'm not messing with none of this stuff, bro. And 2, here's the biggest thing. It's clear that it's a lot of dysfunction that's going on in that young lady's freaking life. And the family is contributing to it. For them to act as though like they actually give a damn now, right? Why is it that they didn't call the police and let them know that she was here and then she left? Seemed like she was pretty cordial with them cats. So that's in front of her freaking apartment. I believe, and I'll check in real time right now, TMZ messed around and basically said, no, hold on. Nah, this was actually in front of some people's house that she was actually caught up in. And it's like, nah, that's actually not true, TMZ. TMZ, they're saying that this was in front of her house. They said, oh, it's neighbor's house. But if I'm staying in a complex, I'm going to assume that if you're standing in front of that apartment complex, that, hey, bruh, that's what that is. Listen what it says. Hold on. It says, Celeste Rivas video of screaming match with neighbors months after going missing. Then it says, new Celeste Rivas video shows argument with neighbors months after she went missing. The video obtained by TMZ was recorded by a Nest camera on September 8, 2024, months after Celeste had been reported missing. A neighbor says it shows her going off on a family over a prank. They did not mention that same apartment complex is the one in which she stayed in. That's another glaring flag. Then, you know what? Take a listen to what this little dude said right here.
Meet Celeste.
Through a friend.
Tell me how that whole relationship started.
I guess she liked me, or she was looking for someone, and yeah, we started talking.
And what school was this in?
Lakeland Village.
Was she sweet? Was she kind? Was she bubbly? What do you remember about her?
She was really kind, and she said she wanted something serious.
And how old were you when you met her?
13 or 14.
So at what point did you feel, or did you hear from Celeste that there were problems at home?
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
And then you guys broke up, and the next thing you know, you find out that she's involved with this internet sensation, David.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna happen, like, at all, because like she was always like so happy and stuff.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me and my friend that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it, and the next day she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
Did it break your heart that you were not going to be with her, or did you feel upset about losing the relationship?
Not really. It was kind of clear that we're like better as friends, but it was kind of sad that I wasn't able to like say goodbye, or like see how she was doing, like when she ran away.
What was your reaction when you saw the breaking news that they had found your ex-girlfriend's body in the trunk of his car?
My heart dropped. I was like, I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I kind of had a feeling when I saw, like, the first thing. I was like, what if it is her? I just, like, brushed it off. But when I saw it really was her, I was like, damn, I really knew.
So let me just make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You had seen the news out of Los Angeles that a body was found in his car.
Yeah.
And you immediately had a sinister thought about Celeste?
Yeah, because one of my friends told me.
Were you at home with your mom when they identified Celeste and you saw it all over the news? Can you remember that moment for us?
Yeah, I was on the way to school, and then, like, she just, like, showed me. And, like, I took a picture of it and I sent it to one of my friends, and he's like, yeah, I saw it too, it's crazy. And I just couldn't believe it.
So this has been the talk of the school?
Yeah.
Just the fact it was someone that my son was so close to at one time and how everything happened, it's kind of scary. It's really close to home. And if it could happen to her, it could happen to anyone. And everyone just needs to be very careful on social media.
What about you? What do you think about at night when this kind of flashes through your mind?
I just think, like, if someone actually, like, did something, like when she said she's gonna run away, because I feel like no one cared.
So, was she in a relationship with him? In a relationship with David? Because at the end of the day, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. As a young dude who had to date a girl and then find out that she was messing with some cats way older. And I'm a victim of that shit myself when I was a young man in high school. I found out a girl I was messing with basically had a nigga with a car. And I ain't doing nothing but riding a bus. School bus at that. So I just know me personally, I just got mad and was pissed the hell off and left her alone. Either he had something to do with it or he know more than he letting off. One of the two. But the fact that that young dude basically said, oh, he was messing with her damn near around the same timeline that David was messing with her. Yeah, hell nah. But watch this clip right here because this is even more telling. Check it out.
3 weeks to the day since the body of a teenage runaway was found in the trunk of an impounded car owned by a prominent young singer who happened to be her boyfriend. It has been assumed and sleuthed and now officially confirmed by police that the body had been in that trunk for several weeks before that. But now police are also saying that until and unless they determine how Celeste Rivas Hernandez actually died, they will not know whether she's a homicide victim or an accident victim, or maybe even took her own life. In a statement to News Nation, the LAPD captain overseeing the investigation said the following, quote, "It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body." Wow. Which is all the more interesting when you remember the LA police chief indicated that this was a homicide, like last week. This was a homicide investigation. He did it in a TV interview. Keep in mind also that the medical examiner doesn't even have Celeste's remains anymore. Those were given back to her family also last week. My next guest is a private investigator specializing in missing persons who's been looking into the mystery of Celeste's death. Steve Fisher, welcome back to the show. Let's just dig right into that. Last week, we've got the chief of police, Jim McDonnell, saying, whenever you investigate a homicide, you look at all the associated issues as well, and that's something they'd certainly be looking at. When asked about this case, that I perked up. There he was talking about a homicide and the associated issues. Now we're hearing from his LAPD captain. It remains unclear whether there's any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. How does this square with you? Is this a misstatement? Are they, one hand's not talking to the other?
Well, two wildly different statements, right? I think that maybe what the chief was saying is that all these, cases when you got a deceased body, that's not an obvious. The reason why is investigated as a homicide, and then it can be determined later not to be. But the statement about if there's any criminal culpability, maybe just the concealment of the body, that's a misdemeanor in California. That's something that has a $1,000 fine and $1,000 to $10,000 fine and up to a year in jail. But somebody without a record won't get probation. We're talking about a minimal charge considering what we were thinking. And I was really, really, really disappointed to see that there wasn't any mention when they talked about the criminal culpability of any harboring, trafficking, sex crimes against an 11 to 14-year-old girl. It's like they're not even looking at it. I know that there was a statement that they're looking at all the relationship, but when it came to the criminal part, it did not bring that up, and that's just horrible as far as I'm concerned. That's the worst part.
Or maybe maybe he's just waiting for David to talk to someone, and there it is. There's the evidence. He's mentioned it himself. He thought he was in the clear. We gave him a long leash, and he hung himself with it. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. Quick question though, about the pregnancy. That was huge to me when they said that she was not pregnant, nor had she been pregnant for a year. It was huge to me. Do you think it complicates anything, or do you think it just rules that part out?
I think it's actually a good sign for the rest of the autopsy, because if they were able to determine that means that they probably did so through HCG hormone tests, which they got from probably the vitreous humor gel that's behind the eyeball. So that means that they will also be able to get full toxicology. She wasn't in such a state where they lost that. So if they were able to make this determination about pregnancy, then they can also get the toxicology and find out exactly what was in her system, how much, what levels, and from there can determine if that's accidental, or if maybe there was something nefarious, and also what it is, because there are, if it's fentanyl and somebody gave her that fentanyl, then they can be held responsible. That is a criminal act.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up. It makes a big difference. Steve Fisher.
Now, the police basically are saying they investigated it as a homicide, and now it seems like the police are falling back from that idea, which means that police have been talking to friends, family, and individuals and have some type of, I don't want to say they have evidence that can show text messages and all this crap, but it definitely seems like if they had something on David by now, bruh, they gonna pull their damn evidence out and do that, because he said something that I said as well, bruh. He's already guilty of 5 felonies. Well, he could be charged with 5 felonies already. So that's basically sexual conduct with a minor, sexual exploitation of a minor, harboring a minor, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and child endangerment. Then if he would have took her across states, that's the Mann Act right there, which looks at 20 years to life. But if you're Diddy, people think that you're going to get off. If you're Diddy, people think that you're going to get off and walk on probation, and you get found guilty of that twice. But because it's a minor, it's different rules, it's a different league, so there's that part. But let's be fair, square, obvious, and honest here. TMZ jumped the gun. They put out bad information. That girl been dead for weeks. The police didn't do their damn job. Hell, the tow truck driver failed. Or they concealed the hell out of that body. And the police didn't want to admit that. You might be dealing with somebody who absolutely knew what they was doing, set it all up, and there's that. She, still, once again, I believe David did it. This gives me more depth into thinking that nigga killed her before he left and threw her ass in that body. They said that, threw her ass in that body, threw her ass in that trunk. They said that car had been sitting there for no longer than a month, for a month. They've been gone for about a month. So the timelines still match up, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty either. So the September 1st timeline, that shit is gone because it doesn't make sense. Now, if they're saying that car had been sitting there for that long and all this shit and everything, then we'll see. But the medical examiner will determine everything ultimately. So it still could be actually the reports that were given, she actually did die September 1st. That could still be a thing, because part of the decomposing body aspect of it is certain shit can fall off of a decomposing body, but there's a way that they can determine whether she was chopped up based on how the bone is cut. But we'll see. So it is what it is. If you want to win one of these, hit that like button right now. Comment with your thoughts on this one and be an active subscriber. That means go up and make sure that you comment on every single video. Some of y'all that fell out and you're not even qualified yet. We basically do 3 videos a day. 3 of them. Which basically is 21. So in a month span, you're looking at what? 84? So basically, you need 5 weeks worth of comments, 5 weeks worth of likes, and goddamn me, yeah, be a subscriber. But y'all wondering why I said that shit about the Mann Act? Click right here to see what the hell Diddy done got into, man, because it's looking like it's going to be a little crazy, man. I ain't going to hold you, man. They trying to get Diddy 11 for that Mann Act stuff. They even put a little sprinkle on there. And I guess click right here to just watch the playlist. You ain't even got to click the video. Y'all trying to get through your day. I'll catch you on the next one.